All right. Oh, am I live? All right, good. Um, Hi, everyone. I'm Seungwook from or AIRS Medical. We're very excited to be here in Vienna. It's our first official participation as an exhibitor in the Europe scene, and I'm going to talk about today about our product SwiftMR. Of course, I am an employee of AIRS Medical. So the problem that we wanted to solve is a little bit different than compared to other companies that are out there. So the accessibility to MR, as you know, is quite low and also very expensive. So there are situations, it's a problem for everyone, including patients and also the healthcare providers, where patients have to endure, up to 30, 45, up to an hour of time in the scanner. And also because there are so much scans nowadays, you have to wait for a long time even to receive the scan, and not to mention all the expensive fees as to the receiving the exam. And also, in the healthcare provider's perspective, it's also very, these scanners are very low efficient because due to, of course, the long scan times, also the huge backlogs, not to mention, are problematic for everyone. So as you can see, reducing the number, the time taken for each scan is a lifesaver for everyone. So, and the fast MR, so to speak, it's not really something new, so to speak. So it's actually been the heart of MR technology innovation for decades, right? So as you can see. In the 90s with the partial K-space, and also in the 2000s, also 2010s, the various number of applications for compressed sensing and also sense and grappa, parallel imaging techniques. But I think with the advent or the birth of AI, so to speak, nowadays, the fast MR is also kind of facing a new horizon now. So then what are we doing? How can we do this with AI? So basically what we are providing is an opportunity to reduce the scan time in the patient side. So patient would have to could spend less time in the scanners themselves, whereas for example, if the standard of care scan was 30 minutes, you can spend less time in the scanner by up to 50%. But in turn, you would get a low quality image, right? So then in the reconstruction side, when the patient is actually outside the scanner, when the scan is done, you would take the post-processing approach to improve upon that low quality image and bring it back up to the diagnostic quality. So this kind of technology basically has value for all stakeholders, right? So it's not only just good for the patients, where they can spend less time waiting, and also with because they're spending less time in the scanners, they have a lower anxiety and also discomfort. And it also works for MR technologists and also the radiologists, of course. For example, for technologists, the repeat scans are lower because potentially there are lower motional artifacts because there's patients spend less time in the scanner, and also for radiologists, you still get that diagnostic image quality, and also you can reduce that scan backlog while also being able to improve upon your revenue coming from the scans, right? So how does SwiftMR work then, right? So it's basically it works upon a conventional fast acquisition methods. So basically that we couple that with the MR, or AI or deep learning based reconstruction software. So it can be applied to any of the vendors, the major vendors, that is GE, Siemens, Philips, whatever you throw at us. And then basically we trained our network on pairs of or millions of pairs of images having both low quality and also high quality image, meaning low quality meaning lower SNR and also lower spatial resolution. So when such an input comes in, our network can tell the amount of noise that it needs to remove, and also it can tell the high resolution, so to speak, pair that it has been trained on, and we can reconstruct it to a diagnostic quality image. In the deployment side, it's also fully automated, and it's a back-end AI deployment, meaning that in the workflow sense, nothing has changed in the front end for you. So it's cloud-based or either on-premise server-based service. So it's basically sits in between your MR scanners and also the PACS. So when an image comes in with the low quality, you can basically send it to our server as a DICOM node, which takes less than 30 minutes to set, and then when the reconstruction is done, the result will be pushed to the PACS, and nothing's going to be changed in terms of workflow. So how's the algorithm then? So it's basically a world-best technology. We were a two-time winner of FastMRI Challenge, which was hosted by NYU and also Facebook back in 2019 and also 2020, and where we were able to show that the algorithm performance was superior compared to the other competitors, and also it has outstanding robustness in terms of the generalizability of the algorithm. And of course, you would still kind of think that that's not enough for me to adopt this, so that's why we're very devoted to coming up with more evidences in the clinical sense, and we are conducting more than 25, 30 research studies around the world to come up with clinical evidences that to convince you that this is a clinically relevant technology. So I'm running out of time, so I'm going to just fire some example images at you. So this is a fast acquisition example, where on the left side you see a clinical standard image, which was taken under 2 minutes and 25 seconds. And in the middle you see a fast scan, so therefore having a lower quality. And then you see on the right side, this is a reconstructed image using SwiftMR, and you can still see that even with the shorter scan time, you still get that diagnostic image quality, and of course, all the lesions that you're supposed to see are still intact. And also, you apply this for 2D thin section imaging, to look at those fine details in the image. But of course, thin section imaging or thin slices come at a cost of lower SNR. Of course, you can apply our solution in those kind of cases as well. And of course, our solution works for 3D images. In this case, it's an image of a 3D T1, which in the clinical standard side, you see 4 minutes and 51 seconds. We can, I don't know what happened there, but anyway, this is 2 minutes and 45 seconds compared. And of course, this is 3D TOF imaging or MRA imaging. And of course, 7 minutes and 12 seconds compared to 3 minutes and 13 seconds, which is more than half. Going down to spine, of course, C-spine imaging can be a little tricky, but nonetheless, you see we were able to show very good results, and you can see that the truncation artifacts which are shown in the images tend to lessen because due to the resolution enhancement effect of SwiftMR, and of course, you would still have to see those myelopathy findings, which are still, you can see that they are still intact. Going down to the MSK, it works for or shoulder imaging as well. So basically the same story for breast and also for knee. Now you might be thinking that you're not particularly looking for fast acquisitions or accelerations. In those kind of cases, we could also provide you with super resolution effect only. So we would take that conventional images or standard of care images as the input itself without any acceleration, and even with that, we can achieve pretty good pretty nice image qualities. And you can see this is a T1 or 3D T1 image of the brain, and you can just compare those two images, and you can see right off the bat the results are very beautiful actually. And we did have some vessel wall imaging applications just recently published in European Radiology, where and you can see the results here for yourself, and the same thing on this side as well. Of course, we can apply this to abdominal imaging as well. This is coronal T1 vibe, fast SAT images. And going down to the pediatric side, this is a pediatric brain of a SWI or susceptibility weighted imaging, and you can see that the noise in the image has nicely been removed, and with also having the resolution enhancement effect. So that's it for what I have, and we're actually right next door in booth number 15. So if you're interested, you can come visit us. Thank you.
Dr. Yang, quick question, if I may, as we transition to Alothea's talk. One question, there's an increasing sort of drive towards this very low Tesla strength portable MRI. Does your software work on these 0.5 and below Tesla strength magnets?
Right, so that's actually a good example. So we're just gaining experience as to how much of a generalizability that we can achieve with our algorithm, and we've seen that it works for lower Tesla machines as well.
And in terms of ADC imaging and B-mode maps and things, do you cover those, or are you just on the T2, T1s?
We do diffusion imaging as well, but as you know, it's kind of tough. Diffusion imaging, a little relatively, I should say. But we're perfecting it, and we're getting there, I think.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Another question? Yes, of course. Use my microphone.
Thank you very much. I have a question. What is the input to the software? Is the reconstructed accelerated image, or is the raw data you get from the case space?
Right, so that's a good example. You probably have noticed that vendors have similar technologies, but they work in the case-based set, or the raw data domain. But we, as a third-party vendor, we work in the DICOM domain.